What's up, everybody? This is Lucky from Lucky and Amanda. This is my first cooking video that I've ever done. And what is it for today that's going to be eaten? It is going to be a crockpot chili. Crockpot chili is definitely a hearty, nice meal to enjoy, especially for when the weather is really cold outside, which in Texas it's been pretty cold lately. So I decided to make something that's nice, warming, and to show off, you know, how easy it is to make such, you know, delicious food. Right now I'm starting off with peeling an onion. A lot of different ways people will do that process, but the easiest way I find is to just cut off both ends like that and then just start peeling away at that thick skin, and it just starts to come right off. You could even take like the back of the knife if you wanted to like try to like make it come loose, or just use your nails. Just make sure you wash your damn hands before you do it. Don't start touching everything, dirty ass hands. And that's why you can't trust everybody that, you know, that's house you go to prepare you food, because you never know what people are doing with some dog ass hands, you know. But I'm going to be doing, like I said, a crockpot chili. I got 3 pounds of meat because my family, we like to eat. And I also got this packet of 2 alarm chili, Texas style. This one is got a red pepper packet if you want it to be spicy. If you don't want it to be spicy and you want it to be like a, you know, mild or medium, then you can just put half of the packet. And if you don't like spicy, don't add the red pepper packet. They sell another product that's similar to this. It's called False Alarm Chili Kit. And that one doesn't even have the red, you know, the red pepper packet in it at all. So I don't see what's the point of doing all that. But it comes with everything in here. It comes with your chili mix. It comes with the masa flour for thickening. It comes with a garlic and onion dehydrated packet. It's got the other seasonings and stuff in here. This one is a cumin and oregano. And this one is paprika. This is the red chili packet. This is the one that you have a choice to add it or don't add it. Or buy the pack that doesn't contain it. If you don't like spicy, don't buy it. Simple. I add extra onion. I add extra garlic in too, to expand on the flavor profiles and everything, you know. Just, you can skip that step though. You don't have to. If you don't like it, don't do it. Let's start by cutting off half an onion, because that's all I want. It already has the dehydrated packet. You don't have to add in extras. I do it because I like it. We love the flavor. And it adds extra sazon. Kind of want this onion to be a little more like chunky and loose and not not finely diced or not rim walled. I want to actually taste the onion in there, so sorry, my eyes are kind of crying a little bit, but nice, big, slightly uneven pieces of onion to add for flavor. Just saying. Afterwards, I'll take the meat and I'll start by preheating my pan. I'm going to add the meat in there. After it's heated up, I should have waited for it to heat up. But with the power of movie magic, I'll get back to you when it heats up. Another tip for cooking with stainless steel pans, you will also know that you'll know that your pan is also heated up when you're able to drop a piece of water before you put oil. You'll be able to drop a piece of water and it'll form like a little bead and it won't just sizzle up. Once you got that little bead in there, it's a scientific thing. They call it the Leidenfrost effect, and what that basically means is, well, it means that, like, you know, your proteins or whatever you're putting in there, it's not gonna stick to the pan because of that's the way stainless steel works. If you don't have stainless steel and you have like non-stick, it's like highly advised for you to not like preheat your pan because your food and stuff is not going to stick in there anyways. So it's just a little bit of advice to follow. Always want to preheat your stainless, not your non-stick. And as well, stainless steel can handle up to like mid to high heat. Just make sure you have the right corresponding oil. If you decide to put something like extra virgin olive oil, you're gonna burn it, it's gonna become rancid, and it's not a good idea. You're gonna want to use something like avocado oil, vegetable oil. I know avocado oil is really expensive, but that's the one with the highest amount of smoke point. Peanut oil is another good one. But vegetable oil is like your typical frying oil, just saying. Just know. Always be aware of what you're using, what you're putting in the pan, what you're cooking. But now, we have a preheated pan. Now I'm going to take this 3 pounds of ground beef and I'm just gonna put it in. So now that you got your ground beef started cooking, your goal for this is to get it a little, crisp if you can. But this basically just starts the cooking process for it. But this is just to get the cooking process started for this chili. You're also going to want to have a tomato sauce. I have an oregano, basil, and garlic tomato sauce. If those flavors are a little too extreme for you, you should either stop making chili or get with the program. I also have dark red kidney beans. You don't have to use dark red kidney beans. You could use pinto beans, you could use chili beans, but in my opinion, I find that these have the most flavor as compared to the frijoles colorados, the other red beans that they have. I like to use dark red kidney beans. I find that they have the best flavor. I find that they're more rich. And if you don't like getting gassy from it, you can always wash the beans before you put it in. If you want to keep that salt and that sodium that's in the canning liquid, go ahead, do what you want. All I want to do is just get across the point that it does not take a lot of work to make delicious food. All it takes is a little effort and a little know-how. if you don't know how, there's countless numbers of people that do know how to cook that are more than willing to share their, you know, creative side. So once you start seeing a little bit of that browning, you know, you're kind of getting with the program, you know. And one of my favorite parts about cooking with the ground beef, especially with like the 80-20 blend, is that I find that you can get a lot of beef tallow out of it, which is basically the rendered fat from it. Afterwards, it like solidifies. I do have some in the fridge right now. Once this starts getting all, you know, greasy and whatnot, I usually transfer it into a little jar that I have that is designated for my beef tallow. Tallow is really nice because it really possesses that strong beefy flavor, and that's actually originally what they used to do for McDonald's. They used to fry the fries in beef tallow. They've now switched to vegetable oils because of cost and because of some people were, you know, health conscious and thinking, but I mean, if you ask me, that's the flavor right there. That's the sazon. You gotta have sazon with your cooking. And I'm not even gonna do the full process in here. I know something else I probably should have started too doing as well is because I want there to actually be tomatoes in this. So I'm going to So I got 2 tomatoes here. I was actually going to fire roast these. I'm going to bring my torch though and do that. One second. So I have my torch, propane torch. Now I'm going to start fire roasting tomatoes. You don't have to do this. You could just throw it inside of a broiler. Do as you please, do as you want, do what you're comfortable with. I just prefer roasting them with the torch. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off before it starts getting really smoky. Right now you could just smell something that's kind of like charred a little bit. Not exactly burnt, but it's charred. And this meat is actually starting to look good too. I'm gonna go ahead and actually cut up these tomatoes too with the onions. I'm just gonna throw them inside of the crock pot too after I'm done with that. Once again, you don't have to fire roast your you could just run it in the broiler. It'll be fine. I just like it to have that little extra, like, smoky flavor. You do what you want. You run your kitchen how you want. I'm by no means a professional, as in, you know, kitchen culinary, you know, working like that, but I'm very professional in a sense of home cooking. I know how to make things taste good. I've learned online from tons of chefs, and I get a lot of inspiration from, you know, like Jose L. Cook, Joshua Weissman, Gordon Ramsay. Now I know I'm definitely not a Gordon Ramsay in the kitchen and stuff, but I do know that I can make things that taste very good, that, you know, y'all's kids are gonna eat. I'm not gonna spit it out and be like, oh, that's disgusting. Kids can be some of the toughest food critics too, believe it or not. Because kids will tell you something straight up, and you just gotta listen, because kids, they know. Sometimes they don't, though. Sometimes, if they haven't been introduced to complexities of some types of dishes, they might not like. But as y'all can see in here, there's a lot of fat that has rendered out right here. Probably can't see it too good, but there's a bunch of fat in there. And all that fat in there from the ground beef is your tallow. So I'm actually gonna go ahead right now and transfer that, and I'm gonna start getting the next process of this started. Another tip though, you also do want to drain out some of that excess fat, because I know fat is where the flavor is, what everybody says and stuff, but you do want to dump out some of this fat because you don't want your final product to be greasy. Unless you like it greasy. Just saying, that's not me. Our pot is right there. It's also gonna need 2 cups of water for this chili. So I also have 2 cups of water. I actually just finished pouring in the rest of it. That's the rest of the tallow. I now have 1 full jar of tallow. I just gotta wait for it to all solidify. And that's perfect. I also have another one that's got bacon fat. From whenever we make bacon, I save that too. There's just a whole lot of flavor that you could have for your food. You just gotta know how to save it, and you know. But once again, you don't have to save it. But this meat's already starting to look good here. It's already starting to get all brown and cooked. Probably could have even added the onions to it, but that wouldn't have been good for saving the tallow, because in the tallow you want it just to be your meat without anything extra in it. No salt, nothing. Just save your beef fat like that. Don't season it. If not, that can cause it to spoil and go rancid. Once your meat's starting to look all good and cooked, that is at the parts where you can start adding your other stuff in it. You start adding your packets in. You could add your tomato sauce. You can add then your cups of water and your seasoning packets. To which that I'm going to do right now. First thing I'm going to put in is the chili pepper. chili pepper packet. And that's for the first deal of flavor. Is going to come from you'll add also your tomato sauce. You'll also add your water. And then you also finish off with the rest of the seasoning packets. Except for your masa flour and your red sauce packet, your red spice packet. Once again, that spice packet, like I said, is also optional. So this is the onion and garlic. The dehydrated packet. And there's also the comino, oregano. And paprika. Paprika. And once I get everything in here all kind of mixed up and stuff, it'll start to like form together the chili. But then that's when I'm going to transfer it to the crock pot so it can finish up the cooking and stuff. Turn that off. I'm going to add all this content to the crock pot. Now I'm going to add the other accoutrements to it. I'm also going to make sure the oven is off. So I'm going to go ahead and throw these onions, tomatoes inside of there. Like such. Smells so good already. That's that I haven't even salted it or anything. Taste. Always make sure you salt everything to taste. I'm also going to add in the masa flour. I'm also going to plug in this right now, the crock pot. And then I'm going to add in the beans next. And once again, like I said, you have a choice. You can wash your beans before the canning liquid if you want to. But I go ahead and I add them in there anyways for the extra sodium. And with that, I could add less sauce. Oh, less actual salt.